एक तो पहली बात यह है कि लोग मुझे बोलते हैं कि मैं पर्सनल लाइफ पे ज़्यादा स्माइल नहीं करता हूँ. They get scared and intimidated. So I don't know why that happens. I'd lost my mom 45 days before, you know, so I was not feeling. I don't know. I did the promotions just to get myself out there. A lot of people don't realize कि अगर वो मेरी पहली फिल्म नहीं चलती, I was maybe in a position or a situation where I would have had to reconsider a lot of. I mean, I would have maybe lived with regret that I didn't even have an educational qualification to rely on. For me, going on a film set was cathartic and therapeutic. I was able to actually deal with life better because I really love working. Why I have so many things that I've not dealt with, whether it is loss, whether it is rejection, whether it is not wanting to deal with things. I was not in a position to take a good decision. I was handicapped by my own personal chaos. I was not, what's it called, Dilulu. I was not hating on others for my failures, and I definitely didn't get any Solulu. That's what it is, na? I've started the groundwork for it, for my own production house, and hopefully, Himesh Mankad on Pinkvilla will do a breaking news soon. So yeah, I would say, जो भी होगा बड़े पर्दे के लायक होगा. And I've always been a fighter. I think this Friday just validated that you should keep fighting. You take the punches, you take the hits, and you keep fighting. Varun's comedy, everybody knows कितना नटखट छिचोरा है, कमीना है. इतना sweet, innocent स्वामी टाइप का, लेकिन है बड़े हरामी टाइप का.
रामायण का रावण हूं मैं.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together with the loudest cheer for Arjun Kapoor. It's so good to have you here.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you guys. बहुत सालों बाद कॉलेज आया हूँ और भरा हुआ कॉलेज देख के बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. But thank you for coming out to meet me. I'm very, very happy to share this time with Himesh and with all of you all. I hope you have a good time listening to all my nonsense. And even if you don't, just pretend now you're stuck with me for 1 hour, okay?
How many of you all watch Singham Again from here?
Oh, amazing. That's amazing.
And Danger Lanka कैसा लगा Singham Again में?
Thank you. Huh? उन सब की परमिशन के साथ उन पर भारी पड़ सका. रोहित शेट्टी के ब्लेसिंग्स के साथ.
But Arjun, welcome to mainstream cinema after so long. वो कैसा लग रहा है आपको एक template typical हिंदी फिल्म करने का? After you made your debut with Ishaqzade, which
Yes.
was that. Of course, you did many in between, but this is after a long time कि आप एक ऐसी हिंदी फिल्म की है.
हाँ, it feels like homecoming. ऐसा लग रहा है मैं घर वापस आके. I've grown up watching films on the big screen. I've been a lover of these summer entertainers, you know, the summer blockbusters, these tentpole films. And I think जब मैंने गुंडे की थी, it was also a starting point for Ranbir and me because we enjoy and embrace our Manmohan Desai, Subhash Ghai, isk cinema in that sense when we were growing up. So Rohit Shetty is the prime director in this space. So I'm just very, very happy and grateful that I'm back on the big screen, being appreciated, being liked. Who doesn't like to be validated by the audience, the paying audience? और जो मेरी introduction है, that made me kind of realize, okay, I'm doing this film that is literally larger than life in that sense. So very, very happy to be back on the big screen and the mainstream sense.
But जब हम बात करें introductory sequence का, like you said, it's such a larger than life introduction. There's so much happening over there. You're sitting right on the top of a vehicle. पीछे आग लगी, and then you're walking with fire on the scarf that you have, or shawl, whatever you call it. Yeah. How was that? How was it to shoot that kind of a heroic entry for a villain?
तो जब रोहित सर ने फिल्म नरेट की थी, जब फिल्म का नरेशन हुआ था, मुझे लगा था आग होगी, तो आई थॉट आजकल VFX में बहुत होता है. So I was pretty content saying, okay, हम आएंगे सेट पे, we'll shoot and post पे सब ऐड हो जाएगा. When I reached there, the most beautiful part about, I think, doing a film with somebody who's so good with doing action and his entire team who's so equipped, all that fire is real. So it actually allowed me to feel, along with feeling the warmth of the fire, it also allowed me to feel that rage and that burning emotion that I needed to have that posture, the way we created the walk, the way I was sitting. वो सब बहुत natural हो गया because I could sense the world. He created that for me so nicely. And I think shoot करते करते I realized how invested he was because जो मेरा shawl का timing है खींचने का, he's pulled it himself. अगर आप Instagram पे देखोगे, there's a BTS image of him holding a tangus. So he pulled the shawl at the right time ताकि the fire comes out at the right time. The trolley when I'm doing the slashing and all, he's there with the trolley, and the splattering of the blood also he's done himself. He was so invested, and the whole team, I have to give credit to them. They just made sure that I never for once had to worry about anything. I could focus on the performance. Or I think usi wajah se, like there are small things he let me do. Like, at the end, the final killing that I do before I spot that guy, when I finish the kill, it's almost like a smile of a release of energy. That just came because I was so in that zone, enjoying myself. And then when I saw that other guy, he said, "Acha, kya karega?" So then we decided that putting the koita in the mouth, and then he said, "Acha, kaise chalega?" Then when I walked with my hands behind, he said, "Haan, ye kar."
So that was your...
So it was happening organically, and then we went there and we rehearsed how to kill him. And then what I love the most in that sequence is the way I peep out and I see the guy still there. And I'm so excited ki, "Arey, ek last bach gaya, main ye bhi maar sakta hu." So it was like having a toy available that, "Arey, I can play with him again," So to do that as an actor, you very rarely get to do stuff like that. Then I walked to him, and that smile that people have loved where I'm looking at Shakti Shetty. The good part is, sir had loved my smile when we started shooting. So that's the place where I told him, "Sir, then let's use the smile." And he said, "Tu kar." And give me that daat wala smile, So वो मुझे नहीं पता था दांत वाला smile इतना dangerous लग सकता है. But I think the whole get up, the way the look came together, and that sequence has now taken a life of its own. मतलब मैंने इतना प्यार एक... See, the most amazing part for me is, as an actor, you want to prove yourself and you want to do good work. But what is amazing is उस scene में मेरा एक dialogue नहीं है.
Yeah, it's just the
And it's
action with your
performance.
eyes.
Yeah, and it's a performance piece. It's become because people have said, "Arey, how well have you done the introduction?" So it just shows when a director allows you, even in a close-up while doing action, you can create a sense of character, fear, emotion, performance. So I'm very, very happy that people have loved the introduction so much.
And when you spoke about the smile, I remember even in Ishaq Zadeh you had that smile, especially in the first half where you are completely the bad boy.
Correct.
So, wo smile, like how do you utilize that smile for creating a sense of fear in सामने वाला person, that wicked smile?
एक तो पहली बात ये है कि लोग मुझे बोलते हैं कि मैं पर्सनल लाइफ पे ज़्यादा स्माइल नहीं करता हूँ. They get scared and intimidated. So I don't know why that happens, but on screen my smile has always been appreciated. I think my first film's trailer, अगर आप इशक ज़ादे का trailer देखोगे, जब मेरा नाम आता है, I get slapped and then I smile, that same big smile, and then my name had come. So I think all of y'all, the audience, had always liked that grin or that evil grin or that madness in my eyes that comes when I smile on screen. मुझे लगता है कहीं ना कहीं the audience had dictated that at some point 12 years back when I made my debut, that this smile is going to be something that people like or remember you by. I have to give credit to Rohit sir for finding it again, reminding me, and it's amazing. अगर correct look होती है, that smile can look nice and sweet, or it can look evil. And the way he used it, it became...
It's about the setup.
Yeah, I think it's about... वो beard नहीं होगी, वो नहीं होगा. The lenses I'm wearing, the scar, the blood on my face, and also the posturing of doing a mainstream villain. When you have that excitement here, I'm playing a villain, I can be completely unhinged, I can have a blast. I think there's a sparkle in my eye where as an actor I'm let loose and I'm enjoying myself. So maybe that smile also comes from a slightly deep-rooted personal place of being a happy child playing on this set. Yeah.
But Arjun, there are glimpses of backstories to Danger Lanka in Singham Again.
हाँ.
क्या आपने रोहित सर क्या डिस्कस किया कि ये फिल्म का एक अलग बैक स्टोरी के साथ में विद मोर कैरेक्टर्स और समथिंग लाइक दैट, कुछ ऐसा बैक स्टोरी प्रीक्वल और समथिंग लाइक दैट?
वो तू कर लेता कल जब तूने मास्टर क्लास की थी, तू याद दिला देता.
मैंने पूछा है उन्हें.
हाँ, तो फिर अच्छी बात है. My job is to do what Rohit Shetty asked me to do. So if he makes a prequel or a story of the origins of Danger Lanka, count me in. I would be very happy because है अलग एक interesting दुनिया है to how he became what he became. But at this point यार मैं उतना सोच ही नहीं रहा. मुझे बस खुशी इस बात की कि people are liking Danger Lanka for what he is. I'm just very, very happy about that. But I would love to. I would genuinely love to. If the audience wants it, then I'm sure Rohit sir will make it happen.
And Arjun, you know, you made your debut in 2012 with Ishaq Zadeh. 12 साल बाद, can we say that this is more of a relaunch क्योंकि
आपको जो कहना कह लो. मुझे काम करने का शौक है, मुझे फिल्में बनाना बहुत अच्छा लगता है. अगर ये 2.0, रीलॉन्च, रीबर्थ, ये सारे एडजेक्टिव्स यूज करने से मुझे अच्छा काम मिलेगा and I'm able to stay connected with these guys. I'm happy with being relaunched every year. I'm happy to do all kinds of work every year. And that's all that I care about at the end of the day.
बट मुझे याद है आपने मेरे कलीग अविनाश के साथ एक इंटरव्यू किया था फॉर इंडियाज मोस्ट वांटेड वेयर यू सेड आर इज द ओनली प्रोफेशन वेयर द फेट चेंजेस फ्रॉम फ्राइडे टू फ्राइडे.
Correct.
And this quote has stuck with me ever since I read that interview. Now, I want to know the feeling that you had on the day Ishaq Zadeh released, which is 11th May 2012,
Yeah.
and the feeling that you had when Singham released on 1st November.
तो यार अब इशक ज़ादे के वक्त ना मैं सच कहूँ and it's very difficult for me to articulate it. I'd lost my mom 45 days before, you know, so I was not feeling. I don't know. I did the promotions just to get myself out there and distract myself. The film released. It didn't dawn upon me. मेरी film लगी है और ये this is going to be the rest of my life. At that point, I was just going through the beats. But I do remember during Ishaq Zadeh, I went to YRF. I met Adi sir, and Habib sir was there in Pariniti, and he said, you know, go to the theatre and see the reaction. Because मैं सुन था. तभी reviews इतने जल्दी आते नहीं थे. You know, back in 2012, we didn't have Instagram reviews. इंटरवल के पहले ही रिव्यूज आ जाता है यहाँ पे. बिफोर यू वॉच अ फिल्म ना हो आपको क्विक रिव्यू मिल जाता है. तभी तो रिव्यू आने में एक पूरा दिन लगता था. यू नो, सैटरडे एंड संडे वुड बी द डेज जब आपको आपकी औकात पता लगती थी. अभी 3 घंटे सुबह पता लग जाती है. तो आई वेंट टू द थिएटर, आई वेंट टू गेटी गैलेक्सी, एंड मैं वहाँ पे बड़ा हुआ फिल्में देखते हुए. आई हैड गॉन विद माई मॉम टू सी द फिल्म, सी फिल्म्स इन द पास्ट. DDLJ से लेके कूली नंबर 1 से लेके सब कुछ उधर देखा है मैंने. एंड दैट डे आई सॉ देम व्हिस्टलिंग व्हेन छोकरा जवान वाज प्लेइंग, व्हेन आई वाज. और तभी कोई पहचान नहीं रहा था, तो अच्छी बात थी, मैं कोने में खड़ा था. एंड दैट डे इट संक इन दैट ओके, दिस पॉसिबली कैन बी द रेस्ट ऑफ माई लाइफ. सी यू टू अंडरस्टैंड, योर स्टूडेंट सर, मैं यहीं पे NM में था. आई फ्लंक्ड माई 11th. ओके, आई डिडंट रियली, आई हैव हैड द लग्जरी ऑफ डूइंग दैट. माई फैमिली अलाउड मी टू गो थ्रू विद दैट चॉइस. इट्स अ वेरी टफ चॉइस फॉर एनी पेरेंट टू अलाउ द चाइल्ड टू नॉट कंटिन्यू एजुकेटिंग. इट्स नॉट कि मैं डफर हूँ. I could have, but I was very vehemently clear that I want to be part of this film profession. After I flunked, I said, you know, for 1 year I'll assist, and then I'll go back. मैं कलोना करके जाने वाला था पढ़ाई करने के लिए वापस, कभी गया ही नहीं. Lot of people don't realize कि अगर वो मेरी पहली फिल्म नहीं चलती, I was maybe in a position or a situation where I would have had to reconsider a lot of. I mean, I would have maybe lived with regret that I didn't have, you know, have a educational qualification to rely on. इन आर प्रोफेशन, यू नो, फ्राइडे टू फ्राइडे, जैसे मैंने कहा, एक फ्राइडे आपकी ज़िंदगी डिसाइड करता है. तो वो फ्राइडे ने मेरी पूरी ज़िंदगी प्रोफेशनली, पर्सनली, इमोशनली, हर तरीके से कहीं ना कहीं आई फील माई मॉम ब्लेस्ड दैट डे, एंड आई वॉज एबल टू जस्ट carve a career out to be part of a profession that I'm very passionate about. I took a risk to not educate myself, which I feel I wouldn't agree with today if I go back in time. It paid off. It's the biggest gamble I could have made. And that day when I saw Ishaq Zadeh in Gaiety and I saw people coming out and recognizing me and taking photos and saying good stuff about me, I kind of realized, okay, I can maybe have a career, take care of myself, be independent, and make my parents proud of this job that I don't treat like a job. For me, it was a passion. Like मैं रात भर पिक्चर देख के बड़ा हुआ था. मेरे लिए सिनेमा इज एवरीथिंग. तो वो फ्राइडे बस एक एहसास था कि यार, थोड़ा अजीब साउंड करेगा, बट आई रियलाइज आई कैन टेक केयर ऑफ माई सेल्फ एंड माई सिस्टर फाइनेंशियली, एंड आई थिंक इमोशनली आई नीडेड दैट ग्राउंडिंग बिकॉज आई लॉस्ट माई बैकबोन. सो दैट फ्राइडे इज टू बिग. दैट फ्राइडे वॉज लाइक, ओके चलो नैया पार हो गई, कुछ कर लेंगे अभी जिंदगी में. एंड उस जगह पे जहाँ पे आप बहुत प्यार करते हो, पैशन था. दिस फ्राइडे वॉज, you know, when you get despondent, you get broken, you have self-doubt, you wonder what I'm doing wrong. सवाल खड़े होते हैं, not only about your capability, that's one thing, but it's also about how do I, you know, people feel you're not hardworking when films don't do well, when you go through physical issues or whatever. You cannot, मैं सबको जाके नहीं बोल सकता मेरे साथ क्या हो रहा है. Only thing I can do is put my head down and work. So this Friday just felt like, with all the noise and chaos that's ensued in our lives now because of social media, because of the fact that negativity sells more than positivity, and unfortunately that's become the way of life now. I somewhere felt that there is an audience that gave me love in 2012 that still wants me to succeed, that still wants to enjoy me, that still appreciates what I brought to the table in those 12 years. Good, bad, ugly. I've done pretty enjoyable films. I've done decent work. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि बिल्कुल काम आता नहीं है. I just needed that reconnect. And I wanted to validate them that I respect your money, I respect your time, I respect your opinion also. And I'm working the best I can to do it. And that's all you can do as an actor. You can't control the Fridays. You can only do your hard work. But you're dictated by the success and failure. So I think this Friday was just a validation that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I've always been a fighter. I think this Friday just validated that you should keep fighting. You take the punches, you take the hits, and you keep fighting.
And I know for a fact that you keep your head down and work because I've known you personally and I know that you keep working.
Yeah,
You like to keep working honestly to the best of your ability. So I think that's a great quality to have as an...
I've done 20 films in 12 years, yeah. So I've never shied away from the success and failure part of it. Also, like when Two States released, yeah, Ramesh, मैंने कोई डिंडोरा नहीं पीटा. I was maybe the first in my time frame to have given that. Because Ranbir and Ranbir were 2 years or 3 years prior, you know. So in that time frame, मेरी पहली 100 करोड़ वाली फिल्म थी. But ऐसा कोई ढिंडोरा पीटा नहीं. हम तो काम करते करते चले गए. I finished Two States release. I went to shoot Tevar. Gunde opened at 16 crores. It's a huge number today. 16 for any film is a huge number. Even today, that's 10 years back. You moved on. There was no PR exercise. There was no building. I just kept working because my condition was मुझे काम करते रहना है. I'm getting work. I'll do good work. The idea was shooting एक की होनी चाहिए, एक रिलीज पे होनी चाहिए और एक साइन होनी चाहिए. तो ताकि आप काम करते रहो. You don't get affected by the Fridays because उतार चढ़ाव होता है. I guess because I've seen ups and downs through my family also. I was always prepared that don't try and manipulate कि मैं ये पिक्चर करूँगा फिर ये हो जाएगा फिर मैं वो करूँगा. अच्छा काम आ रहा है या आपको कुछ excite करता है, be instinctive, be impulsive and work. But I've had to take a backseat in the last 2 years because the kind of work I wanted to do, I'll be very honest, that there was nothing engaging or exciting, and Singham came at that time where I could do that one film, and I think there is a payoff to that at the end of the day.
Right. But Arjun, you spoke about PR. What do you make out of PR in today's time? पहले, even when I started off in 2016, PR had a very different meaning.
Yeah.
And आज के time में बहुत ही अलग interpretation हो गया है of the word PR. What do you make out of it?
It's important because, and I'll be very honest, with this age group, I feel like an old man saying with this age group, बहुत खराब लग रहा है बोलते हो, but it's not their fault alone. Attention span is very less, so you need to remind people, and you need to maybe underline it because there's a lot going on in their lives, and social media, your own space. It's a very difficult time out there. I mean, listen, let's not get into how difficult it is to find a job or make a living or make a life, all that. उस सब के बीच में you also need to recognize who you like, who you don't like, what is relevant. हर रोज ट्रेंड बदल रहा है, हर रोज कोई नया स्टार बन रहा है, कोई फेल हो रहा है, कोई पास हो रहा है. You need to reiterate to people that you might have not seen the film but somebody's liked my work, so you're like, अच्छा इसने काम देखा है, ओके हम भी जाके देखते हैं. और then suddenly 2 जन बैठे हुए हैं, 4 जन बैठे हुए बोलते हैं यार मैं पिक्चर देख के आया, तूने वो रिव्यू पढ़ा, तूने वो देखा, वो इंटरव्यू में मस्त बोला. So you have to put yourself out there to connect now. You cannot say कि मेरी फिल्म ही मेरा काम करेगी. Your personality has become interlinked with how much reaction or how much connection you get with the audience. That comes from society today because the attention is less. If you do one film a year and you don't do anything else, I think there's an anomaly to that, and that is Ranbir. He does it really well. He's somebody who doesn't overtly engage. There is also a way of doing that. But today when I've taken my punches, I've waited. आज अगर मैं PR नहीं करूँगा तो कहीं ना कहीं the audience might remember for a bit. But if I do it well and I speak well and I speak my heart and I put myself out there and I represent what I really feel and you're authentic, I think authenticity also works in creating a connection. So जब आपकी अगली फिल्म आएगी, the recall is from the authenticity of Arjun Kapoor the person and Danger Lanka the character. So that builds certain amount of credibility and street cred for these guys to go and put their money and watch my
The
films.
next one. Yeah. But वो आज के टाइम में negatively भी use करते हैं लोग. What do you have to say about that? Ranbir, like you said, is an exception over there जो अपना काम करता है without.
I mean, listen, I would like to believe it's not important to give it's not important to give so much of thought process to it. You do it. I do it with a certain intent. मैंने अभी start ही किया. मैं PR में newcomer हूँ almost. I've come back after many years to speak and to do all this. I look at it as a tool to reconnect with the audience. I feel now how you want to connect is your prerogative. What information you put out there वो आपके ऊपर है. मैं ये कर रहा हूँ कि मैं अपने आप को बाहर रख रहा हूँ. मैं यही समझता हूँ. For me, if I'm doing PR, I'm not going to speak about anything else but my work and myself, and that's how I feel it should be. नहीं आंसर अच्छा नहीं लगे तो ताली बजाने की जरूरत नहीं है, ऐसा फोर्स नहीं करना.
नहीं अच्छा आंसर था.
नहीं मैं जनरली I'm just joking.
And Arjun, you spoke about in one of your interviews, you spoke about how Singham came at the right time for you.
Yeah.
You were going through lots of ups and downs in the life, and that's when Singham came.
Yeah.
Did you use the angst in your personal life to bring it to the table for Danger Lanka? Like, what was that process? How did you manage, and could you throw some light on that?
No, actually, यार मुझे set पे ना घर जैसा लगता है. So for me, when I was not getting the kind of work and Rohit sir gave me this opportunity, for me to deal with whatever personally I was going through, this phase of life where I was a bit deflated or defeated or confused or whatever you want to call it, whatever term. For me, going on a film set was cathartic and therapeutic. I was able to actually deal with life better because I really love working. I used to just go and embrace the challenge of being able to play this character and have a lot of fun with it. And maybe use that to come out of whatever slump I was going through in my personal space, which did help, to be honest. It's not like I didn't have that angst. It's not like I was bitter and negative to that point that I needed an outlet. I just needed to feel happy and alive. Because I was finding it difficult to be motivated. I was questioning, what else can I do? How can I get back on the horse? How can I do things better? So at that point in time, to be able to be on a film set, such a big film, just gave me a ray of hope that, okay, if I get this right, if I keep doing this right, something good will happen. I think Singham is perhaps far more personal than I realize sometimes because of what I was going through. And now because I'm talking, अभी बात कर रहा हूँ तो realize होता है अच्छा उस time पे फटी पड़ी थी life में. कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा था. And that's what happens in life. I mean, that's all I can say to all of you all is never ever give up because you never know क्या कहाँ से आए, कौन कहाँ से आए. Something happens in your life that can change the entire dynamic of the rest of your life. So I was going through my worst phase. And today, arguably, it's one of the best times of my life today. So within a year and a half, things can change.
Magic happens. Yeah.
And that's life. You just got to keep believing. That is life. You just got to keep believing. If you keep working, if you keep your head down, लगे रहोगे तो कुछ ना कुछ अच्छा हो ही जाएगा.
That's 100% true. But Arjun, आपने एक इंटरव्यू में ये कहा, I think
तूने मेरे कितने इंटरव्यू पढ़े? सारे इंटरव्यू में ये.
हाँ, but अभी
हाँ बोल.
मैं रिसर्च करके आया so that questions repeat ना हो तो मैं वो आंसर्स से हाँ
बोल.
आपने एक इंटरव्यू में कहा कि you stopped enjoying. There was a phase where you stopped enjoying the idea of watching films.
Yeah.
And I know you are a big filmy kid. Like even you said that
Correct.
you grew up watching films every Friday in Gaiety and places. What was the moment where you realized that you are not enjoying the process of watching film? And what was the film in the post-pandemic time where it hit you कि नहीं यार ये magic, cinema का magic अलग ही है. This is what.
Sorry, you're saying when did I realize I'm not enjoying watching films?
And then वो redemption कौन से film से हुआ? On the
वो मैं बाद में आता. पहले मैं खुद याद कर रहा हूँ कि कब मुझे ये feeling आई कि मुझे यार वो बहुत continuous process होता है. ऐसे नहीं कि एक दिन epiphany हुई कि यार मुझे फिल्में देखना पसंद नहीं है. What was happening is ना मैं 5 मिनट 10 मिनट देखता था, फिर मेरे दिमाग में वो ख्याल आता था यार मुझे ऐसा काम करने का मौका कब मिलेगा, क्या हम ऐसी फिल्में बना पाएंगे. So you have to understand when you've been a main lead doing mainstream work, you've been used to putting films together. When you say yes, you're able to put it all together. The industry also is going through a time where it's not easy to make films happen. At the same time, you're seeing amazing work, and I've always been somebody who's very gracious about enjoying other people's work and complimenting them. ऐसा नहीं कि मैं bitter हो गया था, but I was not able to see the good in anybody's performance. I was only trying to see कि why can't I do that? Why am I not getting a chance to do that? So I started becoming bitter about the fact that I am not getting an opportunity. Not about ऐसा नहीं कि मैं जाने जा देख के ये बोल रहा था कि मैं विजय वर्मा से बेटर एक्टिंग कर सकता हूँ. मेरे को शौक नहीं है वो करने का, मैं कंपैरिजन करने का. My point is, why can't I do what Jaideep is doing? Why am I not getting the opportunity that Vijay has got right now in this film? Just this is an example. So it became very difficult to process a film as a viewing experience. It became there was my personal baggage started coming in the way, and I'm somebody who watches a film every night before going to bed, maybe 2. And now the shows ho gaye, so you can see a couple of episodes or whatever. But I don't know. I think so many of my shows. अभी भी मेरी list भरी पड़ी है चीज़ों से जो मैंने शायद तभी देखी नहीं होगी. It happened, I think, in 2022. Towards the latter half of 2022, where I really just switched off from watching any kind of material and enjoying it. मैं YouTube पे shorts देखना चालू कर दिया था. मैं Instagram पे doom scrolling चालू कर दिया था. I used to literally lie down in bed and just keep scrolling and pass out. वो picture चलती होती थी. I used to not even bother. I never even got up and then completed. अगर 15 मिनट देखे तो वो वही रह गई. There was no specific film as such, but yeah, I'm that person that's seen City of God, Pursuit of Happiness in the same night, Schindler's List, Reservoir Dogs in the same night. मैं वैसे ऑपरेट करता था. जब भी DVD लाइब्रेरीज होते थे जाके उठा के ले आओ, एक ही दिन में देखनी पड़ती वरना 200 रुपये लग जाएंगे 100 के बजाय. तो you watch 3 films together back to back. To go from that to not feeling like even pressing play, I think it was more to do with the fact that I felt a bit paralyzed about my thinking. I could not overcome the negative thoughts. बहुत ज़्यादा सोचने में लग गया था, so I was not able to live and enjoy it. The moment where it changed, before I became an actor, मैं इधर PVR जू में अकेले जाके पिक्चर देखता था. मेरा वो बहुत शौक था. मैं घर से चल के जाता था, मैं अकेले जाके मैटनी शो में देख लेता था पिक्चर, इंग्लिश पिक्चर हो, हिंदी पिक्चर हो. I was this nice fat kid who used to really enjoy going on the side, sitting alone and like watch films. I was in Germany recently as in about 6 months back. Furiosa लगी थी Mad Max. So it's not about the film. I'd loved the original Mad Max. The original as in the Tom Hardy वाली थी. मैंने IMAX में देखी थी इधर वडाला में. तो मैंने बोला चलो यार जाके देखते हैं. अच्छा तब तक सिंघम शूट हो चुकी थी और क्रिस हेम्सवर्थ इज अ विलन इन मैड मैक्स. उसकी भी वैसी दाढ़ी वाड़ी थी. तो मैंने बोला चलो जाके देखते हैं क्या किया है. जस्ट एज एन एक्सरसाइज एज अ स्टूडेंट ऑफ सिनेमा. वहाँ पहुँचा, देखना चालू किया. इट्स मे बी द फर्स्ट टाइम आई वेंट टू द थिएटर अलोन in the last 5-7, maybe not 5-7, in the last 10-12 years. And I was sitting alone, there were people around me, whatever, and I again just started, I switched off and I connected. So it's not because of the film or what the film was worth, it was just that moment that I actioned something. और कई बार होता है ना, आप you keep procrastinating, करूँ नहीं करूँ, क्या फ़ायदा करके. मैंने उस दिन बस जाके देख ली थी फिल्म, मैं खाली बैठा था. And I think that just made me to some extent restart that love story with the movies and watching films and shows all over again.
But I have heard a lot about the kind of films that were coming your way. Was it difficult for you? You have rejected a lot of them. Was it difficult for you to say no to the work that was coming your way?
मेरे को पता नहीं तेरे को कौन सी पिक्चर के बारे में पता है जो नहीं की. See, firstly, I think after 12 years you've earned that much that you can afford to say no if you're not feeling comfortable or confident about it. I definitely wanted to work, but I didn't want to make mistakes by just being desperate to keep myself busy. I've done that in the past when I was trying to just sign films to keep myself busy. So it is tough to say no because you do want to be on a set, you do want to work, you want to be engaged, you don't want to be sitting at home and overthinking anyways when you're going through a phase where you're trying to, not let your mind affect you. But I think, so I'll connect this to a very important phase in my life where I started doing therapy. And somewhere I realized that I need to love myself again. I need to take care of myself again. And going outward sometimes is not the answer. You need to go inwards for that. Sometimes you go on a film set or you're roaming around, you're doing things, you're living. You're looking for external validation. I think I needed to go into myself. I needed to really understand why I have so many things that I've not dealt with. Whether it is loss, whether it is rejection, whether it is not wanting to deal with things. So I think me saying no to whatever I did at that point, I wouldn't have been able to do justice to any of them any which ways. तो वो अच्छा ही था मैंने वो फिल्में नहीं की because I needed to first go and take care of myself to be in a better position to also understand what inspires me today to say yes to a film. You are in this industry defined by the choices. Let's average it out to say even if you're offered 20 good films a year, you can only do maybe 2. So your no's and yeses eventually define you. I was not in a position to take a good decision. I was handicapped by my own personal chaos. तो मैंने बोला better है कि why go in to just not deal, to choose to do a film to not deal with this. I'd rather just deal with this because eventually that will help me do a better job eventually when I say yes. So जो नहीं की वो destiny में थी नहीं और उन फिल्मों के साथ अच्छा ही हुआ होगा जो मैंने नहीं की because I wouldn't have been the actor that they expected me to be and I wouldn't have brought my 100% because I was dealing with too much. So it's better I dealt with that. Yeah.
But we always speak about struggles of actors, be it inside or outsider. सबके अपने अपने struggles होते हैं. Even you have had a lot of your struggles in terms of industry, especially in the last 4 years when films didn't work as such. Now, in that phase,
अब वो struggle मत क्या फिर वो थोड़ा that was a phase. It's okay. I wasn't struggling in the sense. Listen, and I don't like to use the word frivolously because then what happens is it becomes a comparative study and it goes into that. It wasn't the best time. Let's put it this way.
yeah, it wasn't the best time for you. So over there, how did you deal with it? Because you have delivered so many successful films in the early days of your career, and then suddenly there are a couple of choices which don't land as well. So how do you deal in such times with yourself? Because you have to live up to the expectation. We are in public, like it's a public image. You have to live on to that, and there's so much happening around. So how do you deal with such times? And who stood by you from the industry in that?
जब नहीं चलती तो इन लोग से गाली खानी पड़ती है, थोड़ी सी खा लेते चलेगा. यार आई डोंट नो, फिर ऐसा लगेगा मैं फिर से प्रीच ही जवाब दे रहा हूँ, ये लोग वैसे ही आधे बोर हो जाएंगे और भाग जाएंगे. सी फेलियर इज पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ. You can't hide from it. You have to accept it. I've had a good solid base of people. Also, I've grown up in this industry, तो मैंने उतार चढ़ाव देखे. I've got 2 uncles who are actors. I've got my father who's seen highs and lows. I've seen all of that and more. So somewhere I think I never took my success too seriously, and I never believed that failure is the end all and be all. It does affect you because time लगता है to rise out of it. अब कर लिया है तो I don't want to now think about कैसे किया, but no, it was a tough time, but everybody has tough times. I think I was still in a very, listen, to not have work after working for many years by choice, because like I said, I didn't do a lot of work also. That meant that I had to work harder on myself, you know. So it comes down to purely the failure taught me, and I started working on myself. So it's like आप जब एग्जाम देते हो, आपको लगता है पास हो जाओगे और फिर फेल होते हो, तो then you need to go back and do better revision. You need to study harder. You need to join group classes. You need to maybe stop hanging out with your friends so much, and you need to actually focus on your studies. So I think failure and repeated failure kind of made me realize that maybe I took certain things for granted. Maybe I miscalculated this profession slightly कि यार अब तो मैं settle हो गया हूँ, अच्छा काम आता रहेगा और मैं करते रहूँगा. And also, listen, the failures give you a lot of clues. I think I also wasn't looking my best at that point of time. So I don't blame anybody for the failures, but I had to try and figure a way, how do I combat all this? So it became a life lesson kind of situation, you know, where you try and learn out of it. Obviously your family and friends are there, but मैं बहुत practical आदमी हूँ, मैं खुद सोच में लग जाता हूँ. तो I was not, what's it called, dilulu. I was not hating on others for my failures, and I definitely didn't get any solulu. That's what it is, na? But I figured out my solulu eventually by dealing with my failures.
What, according to you, is the best choice you have made and the weakest choice that you have made?
Professionally. I think the best choice I made here is to go and audition with Shanu Sharma for Ishaq Zadeh, for YRF. I think वो time और था. I just took a chance. Nobody knew who I was. Even she didn't know who I was. I just messaged her. I went and met her. वो नहीं करता तो आज यहाँ नहीं बैठा होता. Weakest choice here. When I must have made those choices, I must have been emotionally feeling that's the best choice to do. So I don't want to throw any choice under the bus now and make it seem like वो खराब. I regret it because I don't. But I don't know. I don't want to किसी को नेम करूँ या कोई फिल्म नेम करूँ या कोई चॉइस नेम करूँ तो फिर वो it becomes फिर वो अगले इंटरव्यू में बोले कि सर हमने आपका वो पिछला इंटरव्यू देखा, आपने बोला ये आपकी सबसे वीकेस्ट चॉइस थी, आप कुछ बताना चाहेंगे इसके बारे में, तो फिर वो हो जाएगा यार. तो not out of that I don't want to be honest, but sometimes it's not good to be so honest also, so let it be.
Okay. And you were trying to set up multiple projects. What kind of projects were they?
Set up in the sense as
a I mean, you need to elaborate as to what way.
जब start किया था तो as an actor कोशिश करते थे. We used to when I met Balki sir, we tried to put together Ki and Ka to make it happen at that point of time. I was coming from a bad flop. He was coming off a low. Katrina was coming off a low. At that time, I think that was the first time we were all able to come together, and instead of setup, it was also the material lent itself. You know, that one line was really effective of Ki and Ka. So वहाँ से I realized, okay, you need to be active when you're in this position, which is you're in that minority of people who can actually say yes and no and maybe make a film happen. So then a Mubaraka happened after that, and I kind of realized, okay, this is this is empowering. So वहाँ से the producer inside me started waking up, and I realized, okay, eventually I will produce also. I wanted to direct, but I also wanted to produce. In the pandemic, I kind of realized, okay, maybe time is going to pass me by. So I started also funding scripts. I also started picking up remakes of international films. I started conversing with people and collaborating. So that phase of mine is on right now, where I'm figuring material out. Setting up बाद में हो जाएगा, because I think the place where I am, पहले अपने आप को reset up करना था as an actor with these guys. The producer and the director part is something that's genuinely there within me, but I've started the groundwork for it, for my own production house, and hopefully Himesh Mankad on Pinkvilla will do a breaking news soon, because he knows everything about the film industry before even we do, when the time is right and I'm able to actually put something nice together. But I'm really enjoying this part also, you know, writing pe baithna, creatives pe baithna, to meet directors, to read good, bad, whatever you're reading. So you're also kind of creatively creating कुछ नया बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हो. You're not just reacting to material, you know. मेरे पास कुछ ideas थे, वो develop करवा रहा हूँ. So it's a good place to be at, and I think that's also helped me deal with a lot of creative stagnation that I was feeling as an actor in the phase where I wasn't getting the best work.
But you want to direct a film as well. What genre are you inclined towards as a director? Actor के जैसे हम लोग काफी genre पे रहते हैं, but as a director there's difference. Which
अभी काफी time हो गया that I've really dwelled on the kind of film to make as a director, but I'm a big fan of this whole summer blockbuster space, you know. So whatever I do, I would want to do this cinematic, larger than life celebration of cinema. Yeah, I think मैं बोनी कपूर का बेटा हूँ. If you can see his kind of movies, they're all larger than life and big screen entertainers. So जो भी करूँगा, I feel my imagination will take me into those spaces where I grew up as a kid. Eventually, your films and the choices you make represent a lot of your viewing and a lot of your love for cinema. So yeah, I would say जो भी होगा बड़े पर्दे के लायक होगा.
ये सुन के अच्छा लगा.
यार और कुछ आता ही नहीं है. वो जो सीटियों के रिएक्शन मिलते हैं, वो जो फीलिंग आती है टू सिट इन अ कम्युनिटी. लाइक आई सॉ स्त्री इन द थिएटर्स, द स्त्री 2 व्हिच आई लव्ड. जब देखा था तो इट reinvigorates you when you laugh with people, when you get scared with people. Community viewing is for certain kind of movies. I mean, listen, there is different genres. Sometimes you can see at home and all. But कुछ पिक्चरें होती है जो देखने में बड़े पर्दे पे सबके साथ मजा आता है. And I'm not saying कि 200 लोग होने चाहिए, 400. वो कई बार होता है ना, you go and see a film. जैसे मैंने पहली बार बैंड बाजा 12 जब देखी थी, थिएटर फुल नहीं था. But it felt full because the way people were reacting, there is an emotional energy. Like in this room, you can feel that energy. Community viewing just creates energy. And you enjoy certain films you'll see at home, you'll say, अरे यार मैं थिएटर में देखी थी, मुझे पसंद आई थी, अब भी उतनी अच्छी नहीं लग रही. Because वो एक एनर्जी होती है आप जब देखते हो साथ में ना. It creates momentum for you to look forward, and also when a film is good, it feels even better watching it with an audience, you know. So I love going to the theaters for that reason.
And I'm sure now, whenever you decide to direct, we'll also go and watch it with.
I would hope so.
Yes.
I would hope so.
And Arjun, there is a film which is keenly awaited.
Apparently, yes, I know. मुझे पता है तुम किसके बारे में पूछने वाले. पूछो.
कौन सा?
तुम नाम लो, मैं क्यों लूँ?
That is No Entry 2, which you are doing with. You are doing it with Varun, Dhawan and Diljit Dosanjh, I think so. That film has aged very well. It has been 20 years and it's, I think, one of the most watched film on TV. And
उसका क्लाइमैक्स मैं कभी भी देख सकता हूँ वो पिक्चर का. वो जो तीनों लटके हुए हैं, it's just unbelievable है. Yeah, actually ना. हाँ.
So No Entry 2 के बारे में, what do you have to say? You, Varun and Diljit, it's going to.
I think Anis Bazmi is the right person to speak about it, and so is Boni Kapoor. We are 3 actors who are doing the film together. Fingers crossed, everything falls into place, works out, and we're able to make it happen next year. I'm very, very excited. I love comedy. I don't think I've done enough comedy. So, मेरी भूख actually वो थी कि to go and do comedy. Diljit is excellent at comedy. Good News, he was effing believable. Like I loved Good News because of that. Varun's comedy, everybody knows कितना नटखट छिछोरा है, कमीना है. इतना स्वीट इनोसेंट स्वामी टाइप का, लेकिन है बड़े हरामी टाइप का. So to work with a friend like Varun, to be able to work with somebody like Diljit, who has been so inspirational, the way he is as a person and the work that he does, अनीस भाई के साथ मैं मुबारक कर चुका हूँ, so I know exactly what he's capable of, and we're seeing it with Bhool Bhulaiya also being such a huge success, master of comedy, and my going home to my father and doing a home production, it sort of makes complete sense. But seeing the excitement today, I've been able to speak more about it. Honestly, मैं ये मानता हूँ the maker should speak officially more often than not. But the secret has been out there for a long time, thanks to Himesh Bankad. He's the one who broke that story also. But in all fairness, I'm really, really looking forward to that happening next year. And it'll be a good collaboration of energies because I think we all have loved the material. We've all come together keeping the script in mind. And Anis bhai has written a kick-ass script. I think you guys are in for a treat when you see that film.
And seeing these energies, I think it needs to start ASAP.
The energy is aligning of the film.
The energies over here.
हाँ
for
हाँ,
the-
ये रिएक्शन आई थिंक तुम रिकॉर्ड करके डैड और अनीस भाई को भेज दो कि आज का रिएक्शन है, जैसे उन्होंने सुना नो एंट्री बन रही है पार्ट 2.
Done.
प्लीज सेंड इट टू द पीपल हु कैन मेक इट हैपन ASAP. वी आर तो वेटिंग.
Done. I'll do that. And Arjun, you know, there are so many IPs which you have in your home production. There is No Entry, there is Mr. India. Whenever I speak to Boni ji, he also tells me that Mr. India mujhe banani hai. It's a very dear film to him. And I believe you are also there involved somewhere in those developments of IP.
So what happens with these things is, ख्वाहिशें हम सबकी है. We need to find the right creative people, right director, right writers. Today we realize our audience has become very, very sensible and sensitive and intelligent at the same time. We can't just use the IP. You need to make sure that it makes complete sense for a story to either be retold or reimagined or continued. So the motivation has to come from a slightly more authentic place rather than just IP पढ़िए तो बना लो. I think the audiences sees through that after a certain point. They're intelligent enough, and also what happens is now you don't want to kill people's nostalgia. You need to take responsibility when you're adapting, remaking, reinventing, sequel, whatever, prequel. It has to, like I said, it has to be deep rooted with sincerity. My dad is a very sincere producer and a very sincere creative person. His ambitions are amazing, and that is what makes him so unique and special. I completely trust the fact that he will not just use the IP to make a quick buck. और जब वो intention सही होता है तो थोड़ा time लग जाता है पकने में. Like I said, No Entries happen from a very organic place. And it's exciting to have the right people come together and the right script. So I think any of the IPs that you speak about, where dad speaks about, he's emotional, so he speaks about it, but we won't just make it. It has to be absolutely right. There's actually an amazing film that he made many years back. You should ask him about it. It's a film called Hum Panch. That's a modern interpretation at that time of Mahabharat. It played out like Mahabharat. It's 5 boys and the entire village. So it's about sometimes finding, it doesn't always have to be the biggest IP that you have. It sometimes could be a story that even can be relevant today. So in his filmography, there are a couple of films like that also that today could really hit the spot of the generation that might have missed. Hum Panch, for example. So yeah, but it has to come from a place where a director can say, यार modern Mahabharat का interpretation बनाना है. जैसे राजनीति में एक हद तक प्रकाश सर ने बहुत अच्छी तरह use किया था. So it's not always the big IP. Sometimes there are very interesting stories lying in the smaller, very interesting films that you can also recarve out and recreate for the younger audience.
Yes. And before we move on to the questions from the fan, what next on the slate for you as an actor? How has the industry reacted to Danger Lanka, Singham Again, and what's on the slate?
Yeah, it's been amazing, overwhelmingly so, the industry. I think, firstly, I would like to say, Adi sir messaged me after watching the film, and I really, really appreciate that. He's my mentor. He's been somebody because of whom I got Ishaq Zadeh. My friends who are colleagues who can be very, very honest with me about my work, they've given me a lot of positive feedback and reaction. Varun, Ranbir, Alia, my family members, everybody, the industry and friends, family, fans, everybody. I've not got such unanimous reaction for a character ever in my life, or maybe I've not experienced it so closely. I think when Two States was more like an ensemble, we just enjoyed it. Gunde was more, I was shooting for something. Ishaq Zadeh चली थी तो समझ में नहीं आया था क्या हो रहा है. कियन का में बस था कि चलो पिक्चर चल गई, you're validated for the choice you made. This time I can feel maybe what I've earned with all of them over the course of 12 years to whatever degree where they felt some sort of connection with me. And they needed a way to be able to show people who doubted me that, boss, this guy's capable. I think maybe I've given them that. So it feels very overwhelming. So I'm just enjoying this. मैंने कभी present इतना जिया नहीं जितना इस वक्त जी रहा हूँ. Like, I'm just happy seeing all these guys sitting and listening to me and enjoying being in this room with me. I'm living in the moment. I've not thought about the future, and I've stopped thinking about the past.
Nice. And Arjun, since you are a filmy kida, so am I. I want to know your, the experiences of watching films of certain stars on the big screen. You as a kid, basically, when in your growing up years. So first one.
So I need to give you which film I saw on the big screen and the
Experience, like one unforgettable memory of watching the film of the star on the big screen.
Okay.
Amitabh Bachchan.
Yeah, it's very strange. Amit ji ki most of his films from the 70s and 80s I saw much later in life. The first theatrical film I remember very, very clearly, I went to a trial and saw Ajooba, which now has taken a life of its own as a film. तो मैंने Ajooba देखी थी और उसमें उनका सुपर हीरो वाला गेटअप था, तो मुझे वो बहुत अच्छी तरह याद है वो फिल्म यार.
Okay, Shah Rukh Khan.
TDLJ I saw with my mom. I went and the next day we saw it again. But I think the one experience I remember, Mohabbatein released I think 20th October 2000 if I'm not mistaken. मिशन कश्मीर के साथ लगी थी. चंदन के बाहर टिकट्स नहीं मिल रही थी. ब्लैक में खरीदी थी टिकट्स. मैं और मेरे 10 दोस्त थे और तभी दिवाली की छुट्टियां हो रही थी, तो हमने एग्जाम दिए थे उस दिन. लास्ट एग्जाम था, फ्राइडे था, पिक्चर लगी थी. लास्ट एग्जाम थर्सडे को था, फ्राइडे का प्लान बनाया था. तभी बहुत बड़ी चीज़ होती थी कि एग्जाम खत्म हुए तो कहाँ जाएंगे, पिक्चर देखने जाना है. So for me, watching Mohabbatein and his introduction and the music and everything. So for me, Mohabbatein has a lot of emotional value also. I think I was in 9th or 8th or 10th, I can't remember. पढ़ाई तो वैसे नहीं करता था, तो याद भी नहीं कौन से क्लास में था. But yeah, I remember Mohabbatein, the process of procuring tickets, convincing my mother to give me money so we can buy black cut ticket and then go watching that film. I think I'll never forget that. Yeah.
Aamir Khan.
Lagaan. मतलब he's done some amazing films, but लगान में जो क्लाइमैक्स में ऐसा लगता था कि लोग स्टेडियम, वानखेड़े स्टेडियम की फीलिंग थी. लोग ढोल वोल लेके पहुंच गए थे, मस्त, मतलब it was packed, भरा हुआ था सिनेमा.
Yeah, Lagaan was surreal, I think. Even
Yeah, Lagaan was oof. To watch it on the big screen, that cricket match is like it's something else. And if you guys ever, anybody that loves watching films, just please watch the making of Lagaan on Netflix. It is unbelievable. अगर आप देखना चाहते हो, आपने देखी है? हाँ, तो वो genuinely बहुत, if you ever want to understand how difficult sometimes it can be for us to make films ना, और आपके पास थोड़ा सा टाइम है, ऐसी टाइम पास में देखना चालू करना, आपको रियलाइज होगा कि क्या क्या बीतती है हम पे कई बार, to be able to tell a story set in period with that kind of chaos, that kind of madness. Shooting is a lot of fun, but it also can be tiring and tough. So please watch the making of Lagaan. अगर तेरे को मेरा टेस्ट अच्छा लगता है तो जाके आज मेकिंग भी देखना, ठीक है? उसको क्या देख रहा है तू, मेकिंग देख.
Salman.
I think Dabang. To see that entry, the way he breaks through and he comes and you see Robin Hood Pandey, स्वागत नहीं करोगे हमारा, I think outstanding.
Katrina Kaif. You and Varun, I think on Coffee with Karan said that at that time I think everyone was crushing on Katrina. So
No, but we used to have a We Hate Katrina fan club which got shut down very fast because we actually didn't hate her. We were just upset that she used to be very straightforward with us. She used to fire us all the time. She used to not give us any importance. No, Katrina ki kaun si film jo I think Katrina came into her own when she did Race, the songs, the way she did them. And I clearly remember, also because she's a friend, I could see that film really changed the way, if you see before how she was in songs, and she worked really hard in Race, and I saw Race in a screening. And I could see the power that she had, the screen command that she had, the presence that she had. It was terrific.
Hrithik.
तो I was drooling watching Dhoom 2. मैं कभी नहीं भूल सकता. मैं गया था Dhoom 2 देखने. I think I've said this also on Coffee. I was semi-lusting after Hrithik Roshan when I came out. मैं गया था इधर Fame Ad Labs हुआ करता था. उधर गया था afternoon show में. And I came out literally with saliva. And I wanted to see the film again. Ki, wow, how can a man look so good? He was my man crush at that point in time.
धूम का मैंने ब्लैक में टिकट लेके देखा था.
मैंने भी ब्लैक में लिया होगा उस टाइम पे. फर्स्ट डे आफ्टरनून शो था, फुल था थिएटर, और वो ए आता था उसका वो.
Okay, two more. Ajay Devgn, with whom you worked in Singham Again as well.
अजय सर की फिल्म थिएटर वाली सिंघम, आई थिंक थोड़ा क्लीशे आंसर होगा, पर मैंने वो सिंघम भी पीवीआर में देखी थी. बट once upon a time in Mumbai, I think I remember, because very cool. Just to be able to see it's not about beating 20 people. It's not about doing that. It's just the power he had, the carriage he had, that white outfit. You know, the way Dua mein yaad rakhna. I think जिस तरह dialogue delivery थी वो theater में, you could see people are mesmerized. Even now they're saying yeah, because the power and the performance that he had. And such a secure actor. You know, Imran Hashmi had a great role. Kangna had a great role. Everybody. It was one of those nice vintage big old school films where drama tha, romance tha, music acha tha, and his power, yeah, just the way he was, you know, with the side parting, the mustache, just so effortless. I love Ajay Devgn on screen. Yeah. He's just so cool.
And Akshay Kumar, I forgot Akshay Kumar, of course.
Akshay Kumar, Akshay sir की कौन सी फिल्म हाल ही में?
पुरानी
I think Hera Pheri for me, I remember. See, Hera Pheri, I think जो राजू का कैरेक्टर है वो आइकॉनिक है. वो जब ऐसे खड़े तीनों लाइन में और तब्बू आती है और बोलता उठा ले तो I think Hera Pheri for me is the I think the biggest memory of me loving Akshay Kumar, you know. Yeah, so I would have to say Hera Pheri. Yeah. I was a huge Sunil Shetty fan also, so I went to see it because Akshay Kumar I used to love, Sunil Shetty I used to love, and actually that film I saw repeatedly on. मैंने DVD scratch करके बर्बाद कर दी थी जब आई थी. मैंने इतनी बार देखी है वो फिल्म.
आज भी देखो, किधर से भी देखो, you laugh on it.
क्या वो सुनील शेट्टी एंड अक्षय कुमार फाइटिंग की बाथरूम पहले कोई यूज करेगा वो पिक्चर में. एंड इट्स एन आइकॉनिक सीन. एंड देन वो गाना खत्म होता है, वो इस्त्री करता है, तो शर्ट फाटी हुई है. I don't know what they. It's unbelievable, yeah, that film. Then Om Puri's character, when they come to chase, वो गाड़ी से निकल नहीं पा रहे, इधर से उधर उतर रहे. And then him picking up the phone, Devi Prasad, that fisheries. Oh God, every scene, यार. Kabira speaking, जो हर चीज, it's iconic that film. I mean, it's मेरे vanity van में ना मैंने वो फिल्मों के पोस्टर लगाए हुए हैं जो मुझे कहीं ना कहीं इंस्पायर कर रहे थे when I was growing up. So उसमें बहुत सारी फिल्में हैं. रंग दे बसंती है, there's Seven, Reservoir Dogs, Civil War, all those films. But हेरा फेरी का मैंने मिनिमल पोस्टर लगाया, उसमें क्या है ना, मैंने वो फोन लिया है. So you know that phone that causes all the confusion, वो इतना माइंड ब्लोइंग प्रॉप है. अगर वो फोन नहीं होता वो पिक्चर में, वो पिक्चर का स्टोरी नहीं हो सकता था. So that phone caused all the chaos. I love हेरा फेरी.
Hera Pheri is
top.
Yeah, top. So now we have taken questions from the fans.
Oh, okay.
So we can pick up the chits. I mean, they can help us with the bowl.
नरेश है कि नरीश है?
नरेश.
हाँ, नरेश. वो ई और आई के बीच में. अच्छा.
हेलो अर्जुन.
हेलो नरेश.
मुझे पूछना था कि जैसे प्रेम चोपड़ा थे अपने ज़माने में
जी,
तो वो पहले हीरो की एंट्री में आए थे.
जी.
फिर उन्होंने फिल्म में काम किया तो नेगेटिव रोल किए तो वो सुपर नेगेटिव विलन बन गए.
जी.
तो आप भी हीरो बन के आए और अब जो आपने काम किया, जैसे 4 हीरो के ऊपर आप भारी पड़ गए एक खलनायक के रोल में, तो आपको क्या लगता है कि इससे आपको कुछ फ़र्क पड़ता है?
नहीं,
या
फर्क
पड़ेगा आगे जाके अगर आपको सब विलन के ही रोल ऑफर करेंगे, जैसे कि आपका ये जो काम है लोगों को बहुत ही पसंद आया.
हाँ, तो अच्छी बात है ना. मैं वो तरह के रोल कर सकता हूँ, ये मैंने शायद दिखाया. तो उस तरह अगर फिल्में ऑफर होंगी मैं डेफिनेटली करूँगा. सी द ऑडियंस इज लाइक मी प्लेइंग अ नेगेटिव कैरेक्टर. पहली 3 पिक्चरों में भी ग्रे शेड्स थे मेरे, तो ये वाला तो आउट एंड आउट नेगेटिव था. तो मैं इसे एंजॉय करता हूँ और ऑडियंस भी मुझे एंजॉय करती है. तो मुझे अच्छी बात लगती है कि मैं ये भी कर सकता हूँ. पर इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि मैं सिर्फ ये ही करना चाहता हूँ, मैं ये भी करना चाहूँगा. एंड आई वुड, जैसे अब अगर हम बात करें तो व्हेन आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट नो एंट्री, आई वांट टू डू अ कॉमेडी ऑल्सो. कल को कोई रोमांटिक पिक्चर होगी, कोई ड्रामा होगी, मैं वो भी करना चाहूँगा. तो मैं कभी इसको, आई विल नॉट लेट इट बिकम कि सिर्फ यही करना है क्योंकि एक बार लोगों को काम पसंद आ गया.
श्रुति.
Hello, sir.
हाय श्रुति.
What
नाउ दैट यू कॉल मी सर, आई शुड कॉल यू मैम.
what aspect of your acting career are you most proud of so far?
You tell me, I don't know. I mean, what aspect am I proud of?
Yeah, what aspect of your acting career are you most proud of so far?
I think the fact that I have never ever tried to be competitive and always be collaborative. I think I've done all kinds of films. I've taken on all sort of spaces. I've worked with all sorts of people, whether they're young directors, whether they're established makers. I've done ensembles. I've done 2 hero films. I've done all genres. I've allowed other people to do their part well rather than me trying to interfere and make it about me. So I feel as a creative person, I feel most proud of the fact that I'm a very collaborative person by nature.
I agree. I agree.
हाँ तो बस वही that's something that gives me a lot of happiness to collaborate.
Kanan.
So I'm a huge fan of yours.
Thank you, ma'am.
Can I please come on the stage and dance with you on Chokra Jawar?
Oh wow. Okay, so मैं सारे सवाल के जवाब दे देता हूँ then. If you're going to dance, then let the questions get over. Then you come on. Then we'll dance once and for all. Okay. पर मैं कनन को बुला रहा था. तू भी फ्री में आ जा. तेरा नाम क्या है? अतिशय. तेरे नाम का मतलब क्या होता है? बहुत ज़्यादा एक्साइटमेंट है तेरे में. अतिशय एक्साइटमेंट. हाँ 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 तो जब ये सवाल जवाब हो जाएंगे सब हो जाएगा then we'll do the dance. Okay. It'll be simpler. Otherwise थोड़ा chaos हो जाएगा. Thank you.
Pari.
परिणीति चोपड़ा यहाँ है? ओह अच्छा. ऐसे डरे इशक ज़ादे
2.0.
हाँ 2.0.
Hello, sir.
हाय परी मैम.
Sir,
जो मुझे सर बुलाएगा मैं उनको मैम बुलाऊंगा.
sir, how does it feel to be a part of Rohit Shetty sir's Cop universe?
Amazing. So happy, so proud. It's so much fun. जो फिल्में मैं थिएटर में देखता था, सीटी बजाता था, पैसे देके मस्त 2 बार 3 बार देखी. सिम्बा हो, like when I was shooting, my first day of shooting was with Ranveer Singh. The scene with Ranveer and me was the first day of shooting in YRF Studios, and and me and Ranveer used to joke, you know, एक दिन हम लोग रोहित शेट्टी की पिक्चर साथ में करेंगे. हम लोग गुंडे पे मजा करते थे. And then it came true. And I always feel Simba is a very defining film in Ranveer's career because not only the performance but also the way he presented him as a man taking charge and growing from a boy to a man in one film. तो जब वो आया सेट पे ना और मैं कर रहा था संग्राम भालराव बच्चे का फेवरेट वगैरह and he says जे आम्हाला माहित नाही ते सांगा. I just burst out laughing. I swear I was sitting in that posture and all. I started laughing and I went and I hugged him. I said, "Arey Baba, I love you so much because I have enjoyed that performance so much." And on set also I used to enjoy watching him perform because I'm a huge fan of the cop verse. I'm a huge fan. अक्षय सर के साथ मैं ज़्यादा काम नहीं कर पाया इस फिल्म में. We spent a lot of time off, but just being part of this space and also watching Ajay Devgn and Rohit Shetty work together, I think they are such an iconic duo. So I feel very, very happy that I was able to see it from an inside perspective, not just an audience perspective.
That scene is hilarious. That entire sequence where Ranveer
Yeah,
comes.
जो रणवीर एंड में चलते हुए जाता है and he's imitating Ajay sir and Shweta Tiwari and all. It's not easy to do that. He's a terrific actor. What timing. Rohit sir allows him to improvise a lot. He makes so many small adjustments and nuances. And I think what is nice in that scene is there's a yin and yang. You know, there's a certain calm and composure that I bring. And there's a certain madness and energy that he brings. So I think it plays, and that visual is very nice, you know, वो ऊपर बैठा है और मैं वहाँ पे बैठा हूँ. I think both our energies are really, really good in general with each other. I think that translates a lot on screen. Yeah.
I think Ali brought a very, like, Ali also got in a very good presentation of you and
Oh,
Ranveer.
200%. Yeah. I mean, यार उस time पे, I mean, now we're talking, today it's very easy to speak about this in retrospect. उस time पे इतनी बड़ी film to mount. A film called Gunde. To give title roles to us on the cusp of maybe two films being done. दोनों की दो पिक्चरें लगी थी. The way they set us up, the way Ali shot us, the way he presented us, the songs, the scale, the styling, the attitude, you know, even today the backgrounds So Jashn Ishq ka ho, तूने मारी entry ho, to get, listen, Priyanka Chopra was a big star. She was one of the biggest, I mean she still is, but what I mean is she was out of her league just like she's in the film in that sense, and then she did the film. Irfan sir, to have the pleasure of working with him, to be this opposition force. Ali mounted it. Adi sir believed that is the way to really connect with the masses, and that's what. मुझे ऐसा लगता है गुंडे जैसी फिल्म आ जाती तो और ज़्यादा वैल्यू देती. You know, at that point in time we were going through a multiplex era where there was a slight bit of looking at a distance from the little mass mainstream material. Gunde is exactly what today is being celebrated when you look at it's high octane, it's larger than life, नाच गाना है, conflict है, celebration है. So I think Gunde perhaps थोड़ा timing का लफड़ा हो गया था. It opened really well and did really well, but I think it would have been a way more successful film for what it was. If you see it today also, the film has a lot of merit in it.
Yeah, there are a lot of high points.
And I think it gave all of us a chance to show people that Ranveer and me have terrific chemistry. Which today is carried forward. हमने एक scene किया है actually Singham में. We've done one scene, but the value is so much that everybody enjoyed it a lot.
And one last one, Dhanai.
Hello Arjun, how are you?
I'm good, yaar. How are you?
I'm
Thank you,
fine.
मुझे sir नहीं बुलाया तूने.
So, how do you feel interacting with young talent, and what message would you impart to them at an event like Kshitij?
How do I feel interacting with the young talent?
Yeah.
Old. Listen, now what's happened in 2 to 3 years, you realize how life is evolving and changing. So when you meet people, you meet younger people, there's so much of evolution. You guys are so much smarter than we ever were. And it sounds silly to say this, but wo hote rahega. You'll also meet people in 5 years, you'll be like, shit, they're doing so much more than we were. And that's life. But I think what I find amazing is the independent, free spirit that you guys have here today. You guys are not bound by rules and regulations in terms of deciding what you're capable of. I think the younger generation that has come after all of us, not only our profession in general, I can sense that you guys are risk takers, and that's what entrepreneurship is. That's what going out there and not abiding by the 9 to 5 jobs, backing yourself, relying on education, taking chances. So I think it's an exciting time to see all you guys. And I do believe, I hope, along with all the fun and games, you guys are serious about making a life out there. What I do sense when I interact with younger people, from my profession as well as otherwise, is ambition comes from self-belief. You know, it's not just the desire to just make money. There's also a lot of self-belief that you guys are very self-confident that we know what the right way is to figure shit out. And that's really cool, because I think the generation before y'all, we were still figuring stuff out along the way. I think you guys are a pretty sorted bunch. Obviously, you guys like to run a lot more. We used to jog and walk. You guys are you want to achieve success really fast. That's the only one maybe downside I see in this generation, that everything is a bit instant. But that's also because everything is a bit more social media driven and flaunting driven. So I think apart from that, and that's not your fault, that's just society. That's just how life is right now. Whether you're 21? 20?
No, I'm 16.
You're 16? Okay, so you're 16. तो तू इधर क्या कर रहा है? 11 स्टार्ट हो गया तेरा?
Yeah.
ओह अच्छा, मैं 16 का था तो मैं तो कॉलेज ही नहीं गया था तभी. हाँ, 15 is when you do your 10th, correct? हाँ, sorry. So yeah. So when you're this young, or maybe even when you're 32, 33, 34, today's life has become really fast and really outwardly. When I see the younger generation, that's the one thing that scares me sometimes, is how much of external there is, how much of projection there is. So the good upside that I see is the ambition is fueled by fostering abilities and using your own skill sets, but also there's a hurry to show the world what you're capable of rather than doing it just for yourself.
Thank you. And you are amazing as Danger Lanka in Singham.
Thank you so
watched
much.
it. I loved it.
Thank you.
You were the highlight of the film. You were the highlight of the film.
Thank you.
Okay, Arjun, now we have one surprise message for you.
Oh.
It's from Boni sir. He has...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Arjun, I'm really proud of you. Your journey has been absolutely fantastic with ups and downs. And I'm sure you've learned a lot from downs and, of course, from the ups too. I mean, so far you've done about 21 films. Right from your first film, you played variety of roles, different characters, and you've scored well in most of them. Especially, I will single out a few films: Ishaqzade, Aurangzeb, Gunde, Kian Ka, Sandeep Pinky Farar, Ek Villain. In fact, even Tevar, you were fantastic. Unfortunately, the film didn't work, but you were absolutely brilliant in the film. Keep up the good work. Maintain yourself. Your personality is shining at this moment. Make sure it shines more. And stay focused. All the best, my beta. And God will bless you. I'm blessing you. I have immense faith in you and your talent. But you've not yet reached your peak where up is concerned, which you will in due course, because you're hardworking, you're focused, and more especially now. And after watching you in Singham, I feel you have a very, very great innings coming soon in your life. And I feel with the kind of job that you've done, thanks to Rohit, thanks to the entire cast and crew of Singham who've been supportive where you're concerned, you were against half the film industry, and yet you held your own. And this is not just my feeling, the entire public who's seen the film, most of them feel this way. So I congratulate you on the success. I congratulate the entire team on the success. And I'm proud of you all over again. I'm saying this. You have a great future and a great innings which will come your way very soon. Stay focused. Stay the way you are. You're the best son I could have asked for. I mean, you love your sisters, your love for the family is there for everyone to see. I mean, you've just been great son, you've just been a great actor, or you will soon be recognized as a great actor. People have just opened their eyes now to you. Very soon, the entire world will react to your prowess. Your height, your body, your personality is absolutely fantastic. You draw attention when you walk in. And it's good that you maintained yourself. I like the way you're looking now. Maintain this. And all the best for future.
Well, thank you, Dad. Thank you for being exactly how I would expect every father to be, the best cheerleader possible. He's told me to stay focused about 3 times, and that's why I'll try and stay focused. That's the most important part. Yeah, he's emotional like me. He's experienced so much in life, but I think when he's seen me go through the ups and downs, he wanted me to have this release. And I think not the release of the film, but this release of energy, like he's saying, to put myself out there for people to recognize my acting on my work again. So I can sense the relief in his voice also. I can sense the pride in his voice. And I'm glad I made him proud. Yeah, that's what you work for. आप अपनों के लिए तो काम करते हो ताकि जब आप उनके साथ बैठो, you can look into the eyes and they're able to say stuff that. The irony is he normally is, he picks up the phone and does speak to me. This is the first time he's actually spoken openly about the performance and all, because he was more concerned about, अच्छा, किसका phone आया आज तुझे, किसका message आया. He forgot to discuss the performance with me at all. So this is literally the first time I'm hearing how much he's liked me in the film. But thank you, Dad. I love you.
He called me on the day of the release and he was like, Arjun kaisa laga? That was the first question he asked me. He called me around, I think, 6:37 and that was his question.
Yeah, well, I think because I told him to go see the film himself to decide, because the trailer he had liked, etc. So I think he was just trying to gather some information. और मैं वैसा नहीं हूँ कि मैं बोलता हूँ मैंने बहुत अच्छा काम किया आप जाके देखो. मैं बोलता हूँ आप जाके decide कर लो कैसा लगता है आपको. I think he was more worried than maybe I was also, because it's like, how do I explain it? When somebody who's your loved one is doing something आप नहीं कर सकते ना, तो you want it to pan out because he can't do anything about the performance or the success or the failure of the film. So I think he was more apprehensive and nervous that he was hoping that I land, because I think somebody knew the film तो ठीक ही होगी, अब ये मेरा बेटा क्या कर रहा है इसमें. He was more worried, but I think my mom's blessings, the design and destiny that my life has, things did pan out well. So yeah, बच गए.
On that note, I think this is the perfect way to end the conversations, upwards and onwards from here on. Congratulations for all the appreciation and love, and thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. हाँ, अरे इतना excited बच्चा, नाचना है ना, नहीं जाऊँगा बिना नाचे, फिक्र मत कर.
We can have.
हाँ, of course. Now you can bring both of them down to dance.